My name is Michael, and my story began a few years ago when I decided to pursue my dream, to create my own startup in the technology field. I had always been fascinated by innovation and believed that one day I could change the world for the better. The first months were full of enthusiasm and hope. I worked day and night, creating prototypes, seeking investors, and forming a team of like-minded individuals. But soon reality set in. Launching a successful startup proved to be much more challenging than I had anticipated. One of the main problems was marketing. I had no idea how to properly promote my product, attract customers, and convince investors. It seemed that all my efforts were going nowhere, and I began to lose faith in myself and my project. It was during this difficult period that my mother-in-law, Sarah, offered me her help. She was a successful marketer with many years of experience working in large companies and had an extensive network of contacts in the industry. "Michael, I see how hard you are working on your startup," she said over a family dinner, "but I also see that you need support and advice in marketing. I'm going to a big conference next week, and I think you should come with me. It'll be a great opportunity to learn new things and make useful connections." Her offer caught me off guard. Sarah and I had always gotten along, but we had never been particularly close. She was more of a friendly relative to me than a friend or mentor, but now, in a moment of despair, her outstretched hand of help seemed like a lifeline. "Sarah, I don't even know how to thank you," I replied, feeling hope rising in my soul. "I would love to go to this conference with you. I'm sure I can learn a lot of valuable things for my business." "Great," Sarah smiled. "I'll take care of all the details. Just be ready to absorb knowledge and meet the right people. Together, we will make your startup successful." At that time, I had no idea how much this trip would change not only my career, but my entire life. I was full of hope and ready for new achievements, not realizing what challenges and temptations lay ahead. The conference was held in sunny San Diego, and Sarah and I decided to stay in a cozy hotel near the venue. From the first minutes, I realized that this trip would be a turning point in my career. Sarah, with her characteristic energy and enthusiasm, began introducing me to colleagues, partners, and potential clients. She proudly presented me as a talented and promising entrepreneur, and I felt my confidence growing with each conversation. "Michael, you made a great impression on John, the head of the marketing agency," Sarah said, as we were returning to the hotel after a busy day. "He's interested in your startup and wants to discuss collaboration opportunities." "That's incredible!" I exclaimed, barely containing my joy. "I couldn't have dreamed of such progress. And it's all thanks to you, Sarah." "Oh, come on, Michael," she smiled, gently squeezing my hand. "You made an impression on them yourself. I just helped you unlock your potential." At that moment, I felt not only gratitude towards Sarah, but also something else, a special warmth and closeness. We continued our conversation over dinner at the hotel restaurant, exchanging ideas and dreams about the future. "You know, Michael, I admire your passion and determination," Sarah said, looking into my eyes. "You have everything you need to succeed: intelligence, charisma, and an iron will. With the right strategy and support, you can conquer the world." Her words sank deep into my soul. I had always respected Sarah as a professional and family member, but now I began to see something more in her. A kindred spirit, someone who genuinely believed in me and my abilities. "Thank you, Sarah," I replied, feeling my pulse quicken. "Your faith in me means a lot. I'm glad we've become closer these past few days." We sat in the restaurant until late at night, talking about everything: our families, hobbies, hopes, and fears. I felt a special bond forming between us, going beyond business and family relations. Returning to my room, I couldn't stop thinking about Sarah and the feeling she had awakened in me. I knew it was wrong and dangerous, but I couldn't resist the growing attraction. As I fell asleep, I hoped that I could control my emotions and not let them destroy what we had begun to build. After returning from the conference, my collaboration with Sarah reached a new level. We met almost every day, discussing strategies for my startup's development, analyzing the market, and coming up with creative marketing moves. Sarah became more than just a mother-in-law or business partner to me. She turned into a mentor, best friend, and muse. Her experience, wisdom, and creative thinking helped me overcome any difficulties and find unconventional solutions. Michael, I've been thinking that we should focus on a narrower target audience, Sarah said one day when we were working late at her home. If we position your product correctly, we can quickly conquer the market and attract investors. That's brilliant, Sarah, I exclaimed, admiring her insight. You always know how to find the right path. I'm so grateful to have you by my side. In a rush of emotion, I took her hand in mine and gently squeezed it. This gesture surprised us both, but neither dared to pull away. We looked into each other's eyes, and at that moment, I realized that I had fallen in love with Sarah, hopelessly and irrevocably. Michael, I also cherish our closeness, she said softly, not looking away. But we can't. It's too complicated and wrong. I know, Sarah, but I can't ignore my feelings. You've become everything to me. A friend, a partner, a kindred spirit. I want to be with you, no matter what. My words hung in the air, and for a moment I feared I had made a mistake. But then Sarah pulled me close and kissed me, passionately, desperately, as if the world around us had ceased to exist. We made love right there on the couch, forgetting about everything. It was true madness. But at that moment, we both wanted only one thing: to dissolve into each other and forget about the reality outside this room. Later, lying in each other's arms, we realized we had made a mistake. But the feelings that had ignited between us were too strong to ignore. Michael, what have we done? Sarah asked, burying her face in my shoulder. We shouldn't have done this. We have families, obligations. This could ruin everything. I know, my love, but I don't regret what happened. I love you, Sarah, and I'm ready to fight for our feelings no matter what. We decided to keep our relationship a secret, understanding the consequences it could have. But even the fear of exposure couldn't extinguish the passion burning between us. We continued working together, meeting in secret and cherishing every moment alone. The next few months became a time of passion, secrets, and inner struggle for us. Sarah and I continued to develop my startup, reaching new heights, but at the same time, we had to hide our relationship from family and colleagues. Each of our meetings was filled with risk and the danger of exposure. We came up with all sorts of excuses to see each other more often: business meetings, conferences, even fake business trips. But with each passing day, it became more difficult to restrain our feelings and maintain the appearance of a normal life. Michael, I can't live like this anymore, Sarah confessed one day when we met at a country hotel. I love you, but this lie is tearing me apart. We must make a decision, either be together openly or end it all now. Her words hurt, but I understood that she was right. Our relationship had reached a dead end, and we couldn't continue in the same way. I imagined confessing everything to my wife, destroying my family and reputation. It was unbearable. Sarah, I can't hurt my loved ones, I replied, feeling my heart breaking into pieces. We must make the right choice, even if it's incredibly difficult. I love you, but we can't be together. Tears streamed down her cheeks, and I hugged her tightly, knowing it might be our last embrace. We stood like that for a long time, unable to let each other go, but understanding there was no other way. The decision didn't come easily, but we knew we were doing the right thing. We agreed to stop our secret meetings and focus on work and family. It was painful, but necessary to preserve our relationships and peace of mind. The following weeks were a real test for me. I immersed myself in work, trying to drown out the pain and longing for Sarah. My startup continued to grow, attracting new clients and investors, but I felt empty and broken. At family gatherings, Sarah and I could barely look each other in the eye. We kept our distance, afraid that the slightest hint or touch would reveal our true feelings. It was torture, but we both understood it would be better for everyone. Gradually, the pain began to subside, and life returned to its usual course. I focused on my marriage, trying to be the best husband and father. Sarah also tried to mend her relationship with her family and find new meaning in her work. We continued to collaborate professionally, but our meetings became rare and strictly business-related. The spark that had ignited between us faded, leaving behind only bittersweet memories and longing for what could have been. Years passed, and my startup turned into a successful company, occupying a leading position in the market. I had achieved everything I dreamed of: recognition, financial stability, the ability to influence the world of technology. But deep down, I understood that I owed much of this to Sarah and her boundless support. We continued to work together, but our relationship never returned to what it once was. We both tried to maintain a friendly and professional tone, but sometimes longing for what could have been flickered in our eyes. One day, during another meeting, Sarah asked me to stay. When everyone had left, she took a battered book out of her bag and handed it to me. "Remember, Michael? This is the same marketing book we discussed at our first meeting. I want you to have it, as a reminder of where it all began." I took the book and gently ran my hand over the cover. Inside were so many memories: our endless discussions, laughter, dreams of the future, and of course the birth of those feelings that forever changed our lives. "Thank you, Sarah," I said, trying to hold back my emotions. "This means a lot to me. You were more than just a mentor and partner. You became a part of my life, and I'm grateful for every moment spent with you." "Me too, Michael. Despite all the difficulties and trials, I will never regret what we had. You taught me to love and dream, and that's priceless." We hugged, warmly and tenderly, like old friends. In that embrace were so many unspoken words and feelings, but we both knew we had to let go of the past and move on. After that conversation, we became calmer and more confident in ourselves. We accepted our story as part of our life's journey, learned from it, and became better versions of ourselves. I continued to develop my company, now as a mentor to young entrepreneurs. I shared with them not only professional knowledge but also life wisdom, trying to protect them from the mistakes I had made myself. Sarah also found her calling. She founded a charity that helps women in difficult life situations. She put her whole soul into this project, striving to make the world a better and kinder place. We continued to communicate and support each other, but on a new level, as close friends and kindred spirits. Our love transformed into something deeper and more mature, not requiring secrets and compromises. Looking back, I realized that my story with Sarah taught me the most important thing. True love doesn't always lead to a traditional happy ending, but it always changes us for the better. It gives us the strength to grow, overcome difficulties, and find our true purpose. And although our path with Sarah was full of trials and difficult decisions, I'm grateful for every moment spent together, because these moments made us who we are now, strong, wise, and capable of loving with all our hearts. Epilogue. Many years have passed since Sarah and I decided to remain friends and partners. Life has given us many ups and downs, but we have always supported each other, despite distances and circumstances. I continued to develop my company, introducing innovative solutions and changing the world for the better. My family became my true support. A loving wife and wonderful children filled each day with meaning and joy. Sarah also found her happiness. She met a man who shared her values and dreams and created a strong family with him. Her charity has helped thousands of women find hope and believe in themselves. Sarah and I continued to work together, and now our collaboration has reached a new level. We became business partners, joining forces between our companies to implement large-scale social projects. And so, years later, we met again at the conference where our story once began. Standing on stage next to Sarah, talking about our achievements and plans for the future, I suddenly felt like time had turned back. I looked at Sarah, still beautiful, intelligent, and charismatic. In her eyes, I saw a reflection of our shared history: passion, pain, love, and wisdom gained over the years. After the speech, we went out on the balcony, admiring the evening city. Sarah took my hand and said softly, "You know, Michael, I often think about how our lives could have turned out if we had made a different decision back then. But then I realized that everything happened as it should have. We found our path while preserving the most important thing: our love and friendship." "You're right, Sarah," I replied, looking into her shining eyes. "We've come a long way, full of trials and difficult choices. But because of that, we became who we are now, and I don't regret a single day spent with you." We stood on the balcony, remembering the past and dreaming of the future. I knew that many more accomplishments and victories awaited us, both in business and in life. and I was grateful to fate that Sarah would always be by my side, my friend, mentor, and kindred spirit. Our story was not perfect, but it was real. We loved, made mistakes, learned to forgive and let go. And in the end, we found harmony with ourselves and each other. I knew that years would pass, but the memory of our love would stay with me forever, as a reminder that true feelings can overcome any obstacles and change us for the better. And looking at the evening city, full of lights and hopes, I smiled, knowing that my story was not over yet. Ahead of me were new chapters, new challenges, and new opportunities for growth. But now I was ready for anything, because I would always have those who support and understand me by my side. My story with Sarah taught me the most important thing. Love can take different forms, but it always remains the most powerful force in the universe. And as long as love lives in our hearts, we are capable of anything, dreaming, creating, and changing the world for the better. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.